Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome back to the Capes and Commentaries podcast. I am Nathan Kennedy, here with Tyler Baker, your go-to podcast for all of your Saturday morning cartoons, some of our favorites. Watch our episodes, do a commentary, and rant and rave about everything else. I'm going to say here at the beginning, 60-hour work weeks suck, and I don't like them. And apologies that we didn't go live yesterday. I was just way too tired. Tyler, how are you doing, man?
I'm doing well. Didn't bother me at all, dude, because after the work weeks that I have, I enjoy doing nothing. So that's what I did. I got the news from Nathan. I'm like, oh, well. So I went and took care of some stuff I wanted to get done and relaxed and just enjoyed some of the beautiful weather. And, I didn't stress about it. And I got lots of hate mail, for anything like that.
I wish I could have been able to enjoy the weather yesterday. But instead, I could just peer out through the bay doors and watch the sunset. And it's always depressing. I always hate working on nice days, and especially like when you can see like a nice sunset going on. It's like, man, it was a nice day. I think all the shit I could have done, but instead, I got to ride around on the tugger all day.
I do get to enjoy it at work sometimes because I'm taking carts outside or walking from my car to the next dining hall or something like that, and it's beautiful outside, warm, and no jacket, and I'm just kind of humming along there. I'm like the milkman or the mailman, like a 1950s sitcom. We're just kind of stroking along there, just
stroking along.
Yeah, it's like, how we doing today, ma'am? That kind of thing,
Are the college chicks in their bikinis when it gets warm?
Sometimes, but they tend to not break those out until it gets closer to the end of the semester because the cold weather's comes back so quickly a lot of times. But if there's a string of hot days, the college girls will make a point to pull out the short shorts and skimpy tops and the flip flops or bikini tops and just lay out in the drill field and stuff like that too.
Yeah. My dad actually way back in the day before he started dating my mom would go to the colleges with his friend, and they would just kind of scope it out and check out the chicks, and oh well, hey, look that over there, oh yeah, that's pretty good. I don't know if they had binoculars or anything, so I know that they would do it at a distance. They would sit on top of a hill and just sort of look down.
Oh, they're all over the place. I mean, there's a lot. You run the risk of whiplash a lot when you're driving around campus, just snapping your head back and forth, And there's something for everybody. I mean, it's like there's so many different types of women. You're like, oh wow,
smorgasbord.
It is, yeah. So it's me and Keith. He kind of reminds me of Grady on Sanford and Son. We just carry on about he's like, man, Tyler, I saw this girl, man. You won't believe the big old titties, and just just a big pervert.
And I'm sure there's plenty of eye candy for the ladies as well. I'm sure there's I'm sure there's guys like Tyler walking around their tank tops or no shirts at all, throwing a football around or whatever.
Sometimes
these days.
There's like a volleyball net in the sand area outside.
Oh, so they kind of recreate Top Gun, huh?
If you say who's doing it, it's not necessarily. I'll just say it's a cheap knockoff. I'll just put it that way. And that's when I decide, hey, my shift's over. I put on my sunglasses. I'll check my watch just like Tom Cruise there. I got blonde hair like Iceman, Then I'm taking over the game and cue the volleyball montage, But in between each edit, I'm over there lifting weights, so I get the pump going. So with each shot of me hitting the volleyball and checking my watch, I got a nice pump going, Hey, you brought it up.
Yeah, I did. Before we really get going, we missed him at the beginning because you and I were kind of chit-chatting before we went live. But hello to Jason Ritter. Thanks for popping in the chat. Iceman Traveler and Fedmon. Got a few others lurking around, so feel free to jump in and converse. We're going to talk some Turtles today.
Yeah, we're back to Turtles here. It was either Turtles or G.I. Joe, and Nathan said he felt like having some turtle power with us this week.
Well, I was inspired by your constant cover photo changes throughout the week. I'm like, yeah, let's just do Turtles. I feel like he's in a Turtles mood. Something's just I don't know what it is.
It's just if I share stuff, I always want to share stuff that's different and original because there's a lot of generic artwork of the stuff we like. I'm like, that's not inspiring. That's not cool. It's on every damn t-shirt, 80s.com or Hot Topic. There's nothing original about that. So I like to find interesting work and share it with people, whether they respond to it or not. But it does. I think it intrigues people. Obviously it provoked Nathan's thoughts and like, hey man, let's do some turtles this weekend. So, and a lot of that's due to NECA's kick-ass figures that Nathan has yet to unbox yet. I can just tell because he's looking.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, they're still sitting here right beside me.
The minute I said it, you look over like, yeah, he ain't open.
Well, it's a pain in the ass. Like I
popped those things out like the day you gave them to me, and I was just like, oh man, this is so cool. This is amazing. So yes, if you have not picked up the Target exclusive NECA stuff, treat yourself to at least one set. As a Turtle fan, you owe it to yourself to have at least one set.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck finding them. I hope it's easy. But I got the Ghostbusters. What I have right there. Those things are fragile, man.
They are very, very. Well, it's the proton streams are fragile. I will say.
Yeah. The one on Winston's fell off, and the piece that was inserted in that little plastic piece broke off into that. I'm like, all right, I'm not doing any proton streams anymore.
Yeah, I lost the connecting piece for my Egon. It fell back behind the DVD shelves, so I'm not tearing the wall apart to get to it. So he's just got the PKE meter on display. So I may have to take the proton streams off too, because it kind of doesn't look complete if you don't have all four of them firing the proton packs at the same time. So yeah. I might do that as well. But they're well worth the money, and they're I do like the fact that if we can pay money for adult collectibles like the Ghostbusters or Turtles, they're pretty articulated. The NECA figures are pretty sturdy. Obviously you had to be careful with certain stuff like weapons and stuff like that too. But I like that. If we're gonna pay this money, these companies will make it worth your while. They're giving you a lot of bang for your buck, and making the stuff readily available like on Amazon and various toy stores online and stuff like that too. Instead of I wish a lot more adult collectibles were like that. I wish we had He-Man stuff that was readily available like that. It sucks that the He-Man stuff. G.I. Joe too. Yeah. G.I. Joe's another one. It would be nice if they would release like a small collectible line that's not strictly a subscription service, so we could get some articulated, a Destro, Cobra Commander, Snake Eyes, Alpine, Big Bow and Crockmaster, Crystal Ball, even, So I got to find a way to work in those three because everybody seems to ignore. Do you know those three members of Cobra? Crystal Ball, Crockmaster, and Big Bow. They're part of the '87 line.
I'm sure I did. If I saw pictures of them, I could probably be like, oh yeah. But no.
There you go. Just short answer is no. But what I wanted to say too is since we are talking Turtles here, and because the NECA stuff and everything, but as we all know, Playmates was notorious for some of the absolute worst variants. I think they have to this day had the title for worst variants of any toy line that I can recall, from Batman, Spider-Man, most certainly 2000X He-Man. You think of Kenner's Batman, Kenner's Ghostbusters, all the movie Batman figures, anything that Toy Biz did with Spider-Man. They did like a soccer player Spider-Man in like a doll form. Like, what the hell is this shit?
Yeah.
But Turtles with their variants, man. I would love to know who was responsible at Playmates for greenlighting, this multitude. And to look back, those variants started early on in the line.
Mm-hmm.
Like Silver Surf and Mike, which my brother had, which I thought was kind of cool at the time.
Some of the variants were all right. Like, it was practical in the terms of what the Turtles did. But when you start getting like farming Michelangelo,
which is by far one of the worst. And I'm sure somebody's aunt probably got that for him for birthday or Christmas present. Just that's Turtles.
Course.
He likes Turtles.
Like I've said this before, that's how I ended up with the troll doll Turtles on my birthday.
What's your reaction to getting?
I next time I go to my parents' house, I will I'll I'll dig through the pictures because there is a picture of me holding it up. And I'm kind of like just grinning like what the fuck, but I had John and Derek Opencar at my party, and they're behind me like cracking up because I told them beforehand. I was like, my aunt and uncle, they're gonna give me something turtle related, and I don't know what it's gonna be. I can just feel it, and it was the fucking trolls, and I'm like, what is this? I wonder, wouldn't it be funny though if those things are like stupid expensive now?
No, they're not. None of those. You can get. It's always, the original 4 turtles complete. Those go for high money. A lot of the original characters, not variants. The variants are just. I mean, nobody wants those things. And it was. I never actually. The only variant I ever picked out was the Sewer Samurai Leo, which was like the second or the first variant I think that came out that was not like, the actual turtle itself with. The storage shell or something like that. It was and I remember picking that at KB Toys before my mom took me to go see Home Alone for the second time.
That's just oddly specific.
Yeah, but after that, anytime I got a variant from like Basketball Dawn, Rocksteady, as a boxer, which I played with, like I used to pretend like he was my version of Tom Poe for some reason as a kid.
That's awesome. I also had
love that Rocksteady because I never had Rocksteady as a kid, so that was the only Rocksteady I had was the boxing Rocksteady, which I thought it was a badass toy. But I never ever picked out a variant of the Turtles willingly. Any of them that I had was always a gift from somebody every single time.
I mean, I am guilty of getting the Basketball Dawn because
I got it for, I think, as a from my babysitter, because she would get us Turtles and GI Joes a lot for me and my brother. And and she also got me the Cowboy Dawn too, with the candy cane cigarette in his mouth, and she got my brother the Indian Chief.
Damn, it's not like racist or anything. I do like the Universal.
I had the Wolfman in that.
That's a neat idea. That's fine, but some of the other shit is just
like Star Trek Playmate, like the Playmates Turtles. I was just like, of course, I didn't like Star Trek at the time either, and I still really don't. But I mean, with those and the Universal. I mean, some of the variants they're just which Playmates did with the 2012 line too, where they did some matches with Ghostbusters and wrestlers. Like that's kind of cool, but I'm not going to buy them.
Right.
But it was ungodly how many variants and just how few original characters were coming out, and how quickly they were jumping into just throwing out variants. And I honestly, even with all the gimmicks like the transforming turtles, the storage shell turtles, I always liked seeing the commercials, but I never was like, I must have storage shell Dawn. Like it was just,
yeah.
I want the original characters. So those I always had to pick up myself. I'd have to go to Hills or Kmart and get Triceratops, get me Slash. I want Dirtbag, Ground Chuck. Fortunately, like the first Christmas we got Turtles, me and my brother, but like it was like the Turtle centric Christmas. All we got were just original characters. Where there was no variants, except I think my brother got Sewer Surfing Mikey, but he got Leo. I got Donatello, and I got Krang, and I got Ace Duck, and my brother got General Trag, and I got the Foot Ski. So it was just like, it was nice to know that oh look, just a random turtle. Here, throw that at the kid. It was. I just made me wonder like how many people out there who were into turtles in the 90s. In late 80s, which the variants didn't start so heavy at that point, but that's what they were given. Was I will say like the movie variants that because I did like the ones based on Secret of the Ooze and Turtles 3. I did get Donatello, Mikey from both 2 and 3 voluntarily because I was like, oh, bit like the movie, that's cool. And it came with the canister of ooze, and the Turtles 2 figures were like more flexible, like their joints were a little bit more rubbery, so you could be a little bit more articulated with them. And I thought those were kind of cool. But outside of that, like the birthday party figures and, I had the Desert Storm Leo, or he's just like a Desert Storm soldier. I forgot what it was called technically, and I don't care if I got it wrong or not but it was just, looking back, I'm like, I don't know what I did with all those variants when I got them as a kid because I was more interested in the original characters. So I just wondered how many people got those for gifts when they knew you liked turtles, so it was easy just to go to a Kmart and grab a random variant of, Space Usagi, which I don't know if that's kind of cool or not. I just want regular Usagi Yojimbo.
Yeah,
I don't want
right.
Space Usagi.
Man.
Can you think of a toy line that could rival?
No, the variant wise, no. Yeah, no. Maybe like Kenner with the Batman stuff, all the different Batmans. But no, that Turtles probably takes the cake. Of just like weirdest.
I will say, yeah,
shit.
that's that Spider-Man Toy Biz line where they were making those dolls of like Spider-Man is a scuba diver, Spider-Man is a soccer player, Spider-Man is a is this and that. And I mean, that was like, God, that was so offensive. But to see Mikey as a farmer and cowboys and Indian variations, and seeing Raph as like an army sergeant, it just kind of felt like, where's the logic in this? Why would a child want a variant of Leonardo dressed up like an Indian chief?
What about the really dumb things that DC did, like Superman on a motorcycle? Why? Why would he need a motorcycle? What dumbass was like, yeah, put him on a motorcycle. Kids will love that. It's like he doesn't need it. He can fly.
I guess it's kind of like, I find there more logic with the superpowers line and having vehicles for but they would depict Superman in the Justice Jogger as opposed to Batman or Green Arrow in the Justice Jogger. And I guess it comes off of the kids are going to see it more if they see Superman, even though Superman doesn't need any vehicle to travel around in. It's going to be more of an eye catcher if you put Superman in it. I was like, well, put Batman in it. If you're going to sell the Batmobile, put Batman in the Justice Jogger. Is that what you're talking about, the superpowers line?
I honestly didn't know like what line it was from. I just remember seeing it as a kid at I guess it was a CVS, and I just because my mom was getting some prescription filled for somebody. I think it was like my grandma. I'm just in there. I'm like, oh yeah, G.I. Joe's. I think I picked out a G.I. Joe, and I looked at it, I'm like, even as a kid, I'm like, what? That doesn't make any sense.
And that's just. I wish I could find that last TMNT toy commercial, because the guy who put that together, like, yeah, that's the mentality of toy companies a lot, that kids are dumb and they will buy anything that you slap a popular brand name on. It's unfortunate. We weren't all that dumb because we didn't voluntarily pick out that stuff.
Yeah,
they're blaming.
I think maybe that is the whole sole purpose of the variant, is just for the relatives that don't know anything about it. It's like, oh yeah, throw it in the cart. I don't like that.
Yeah,
no, they won't.
Great, you shouldn't have. You really shouldn't have.
I always hated that as a kid.
Me too.
Because it was. It's just a weird feeling. Now that I think about it, even more so now, because I've gradually gotten more uncomfortable with wanting to open presents in front of people, because like everyone's just focusing on you.
Yeah.
So, and obviously my emotions always show on my face if I'm like disappointed or what, like you'll see it, and I can't help that. It just happens. So, God, just opening that up, it's like, oh, cool. Or also another worst case scenario, if you got something that you already had but you had to pretend like you didn't. The anxiety with that.
Yeah, it's a lot of stress and pressure just trying to open up a present, let alone buy someone a present too. So it's, and as you get older too, adults, it's really hard to impress any of us as adults, because most other adults outside of doing what we do, which is collecting pop culture stuff, they don't know anything about it, so therefore they're scared, or they're not even going to bother to try and get you something that's pop culture related. And even if they do, they went to Walmart and got you a T-shirt that has turtles on it or something like that, or the
thought that counts.
I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, you didn't think about this at all, did you? Like, I'm insulted. But yeah, it's not fun to have to fake, and you can tell when people are not that excited, and that's why sometimes it sucks. And I used to love giving gifts to people, but I'm like, it's hard to buy gifts for people because they're not going to get any use out of it. It's going to get in the closet, thrown in the closet, thrown in the corner.
Yeah.
You're like, I spent money on something that I know they're not going to use, but what do you do?
Right.
You know?
The whole thing is just kind of stupid.
That's why this stuff here, since Nathan's into it, if Joe was close by, of course, he'd probably just, take a shit in the box. Here, I can't accept this. And he'd give it back to you with interest, for taking shit in the box or something like that. With the present still in, he'd open it up. I can't accept this and hand it back to you. But it's more fun because you have a lot of options from the stuff that we're into. That's why, if the community was all close together, gift giving would be a little bit more interesting. Because people look at me and they're like, well, I don't know what to get him. He's into that there He-Man and Thundercats and G.I. Joe and Turtles and stuff.
Well, I will say that Who Dat Whale is planning on sending me another package. I already know what it's going to be. And I guess when that comes in, I can always just unbox that live on one of the shows that we do.
Well, if it's a turtle troll, I'd be severely upset.
No, but oh god, I don't even know if I still have those.
I know I don't have any of my turtle variants. I don't know whatever happened to them.
I still have all my turtle variants, but the troll turtles, I don't know if I still have those. I feel like when my parents were having a yard sale, I was like, yeah, these can go. Some other poor asshole got those regifted to him for his birthday, or
they were still meant on a card. You never opened them up.
You know what? I don't think I did take them out of the packaging. Those things are worth millions of dollars now.
No, they're not, man. About the same as those battle trolls when they were trying to market the troll dolls.
Oh yeah. I was
and
never
stone protectors, which was like
the
He-Man version of trolls.
Yeah, I remember those too.
Yeah,
man, I'm surprised those haven't made like a comeback somehow. I hope they don't.
In the 70s, and I'm like, even when they came back, I'm like, this is just stupid. Like I remember thinking the battle trolls were.
But Tyler, when you go to bingo, you put them on your table and you fluff up their hair and rub the stone on their belly, and it gives you good luck. You knew that.
Just give me a pet rock instead.
And also, speaking of gifts, Tyler's birthday is coming up here in a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So I got him something, and I don't think it'll be live on a show like it was when I surprised him on Fans of Power, but I think I will record it and post it somewhere so you guys can see. I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, when Nathan talks like that, you're like, oh boy. We got Arnold Schwarzenegger to come to my house and watch Predator with me.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have, man.
I got him and Carl Weathers.
Oh, we're just going to hang out for the day. We're going to go to the gym. It's going to be great. We're going to share stories.
Hey, you guys like pizza? Let's go down to Pizza House.
Yeah. We'll just shut down the whole place. We get the whole place to ourselves.
It has been asked. Rest of the attorney a place set? No. What was one of the options, but it's not what I went with this time.
Can't even imagine. I can't even imagine.
Anyway, God, turtle variants, man.
Oh, that was what because it is such a,
Is that the thing you were talking about before we started that you were gonna? Yeah.
It's something everybody can relate. If you like turtles, everyone can relate to at least having one variant, even if it's a variant of Bebop and Rocksteady, because there was a bunch of those, and you had a few Shredder variants. You had those Transformer ones too that would transfer like I think they had Splintered would transform into like the turtle van. Shredder would turn into like the drill vehicle. I forgot the name of it is, but
I don't remember those.
Yeah. Then they had ones that like the turtles would transform into little baby turtles.
Those I remember.
Yeah,
but no, or maybe I do kind of, but I just don't remember having any interest in. I think I bought one. I got one of those just out of curiosity.
Yeah.
To see how it worked, but I didn't bother with the rest of them.
Yeah.
Tyler's birthday. Do strip clubs have gift cards? Do they?
I don't think so.
How would that work exactly? It's like here, like 3 lap dance gift card or something like.
Yeah, well, even if it did, the quality strip clubs, I'm sure their gift cards would not be cheap.
Yeah.
If you're going for quality, you're gonna have to pay extra, but it's well worth the money. But I don't. See, Nathan says this because he's never been to one before.
I've never been to one. Never been to one.
When we years ago, before my brother ever got married, I was going to a strip club by myself, and he was poking, man, we don't need to go to the strip club to get any chicks or anything like that. I'm like, all right, whatever, dude. And I wake up one morning, he opens the door, Tyler, come here, and he's laying in bed. It's like, all right, what's going on? I was like, we went to that strip club last night. We're broke. I was ready to pawn my watch off last night. It was just like, I told you, man. It's like, you can give me all the shit in the world you want, man. Crazy Horse is top quality entertainment, man. And they were broke. This was like Wednesday. We had the rest of the week to go. Him and his buddy were flat broke. And I went the whole week. You know, I had to pace myself. Or most of the week. The summer that him and his current wife, that when they met on the same base trip. I went from, I think, Sunday to Friday. Yeah, 5 straight days at the strip club. It was awesome.
Sure.
I had a lot of money to spend that summer. I'll just put it that way. A lot of money. So I bought a lot of 80s T-shirts and stripper services. It was great.
I think I would go just to watch everyone else. Oh my god!
Well, not all of them are like that. You know, it's a lot of times people do come in there and they act respectable. And, you know, I'm sure you do have a few guys that are just like, I think she likes me. You know, but for the most part, it's, you know.
What was the South Park episode? It was Raisins.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
You got
like Hooters.
The Raisins guys. Yeah, Butters falls for Portia. Goes home and tells his parents he's got a girlfriend, and hey, there, cutie. You know, but you know, sometimes strippers do act a little bit more friendly than expected. Just depends on how you present yourself. Are you well dressed? Do you treat them nice? You know, are you well groomed? You know. Sometimes you get a phone number.
A couple things in the chat. JSP says, I don't even want to think about the amount of money I wasted at the strip clubs back in the day. And Febmon says, you slide the gift card in the girl's ass cheeks, then she slaps you, the bouncer throws you out, and you claim you're Joe Motto so they don't know it's you the next time.
Sure.
That's what you say. It's like, I'm Joe Motto.
Well, how would you know? Because Joe's never shown his face.
True.
Yeah.
We'll have to ask Joe if he's ever gone to strip clubs. I'm sure he's got some funny stories.
Right. Joe, as cheap as he is.
I'm sure they got some kind of like weird ass cheap with fucking plexiglass in front of you, so you can't like weird shit.
I'm sure some girl hanging up by the dumpster, you know. Yep, buy me a burrito and some heroin. I'll show you all you want there, buddy. She had a lovely singing voice, and Joe hands over like a McDonald's coupon, like a gift card from McDonald's. That'll get you one tit, honey.
I'm sure he's
just like holding on to his head, like, God, I wanted to see 2 of them today. Do I go without food?
I'm sure he's got some sort of story. He has to, because he's always pulling out this random ass stories.
Let's ask him if he's ever been to the strip club.
Well, we want on Fans of Power. All right.
Yeah. Well, we have a bigger audience.
Well, we have a bigger audience, and guys are watching and listening to the show with their children. Hey, Joe, you ever been to the strip club?
If dads by this point are letting their kids watch that, I'm sorry, but you know what? We're going to get risque at times, because what other He-Man podcast is going to give you the variety of stuff that we do? So, listen at your own risk, fathers.
They all start. It's the Jerry Springer of He-Man podcasts.
Yeah, and I'll give you my final thought at the end of each podcast, to let you know that we are still wholesome, and you can still learn something from our smut, and degradation.
Speaking of Jerry Springer, you remember when Buck was on Jerry Springer? You remember Buck, who used to be at the football games? He was he was the short fellow. Are we allowed to say midgets on podcasts?
Oh,
the little person.
Yes.
What do they call them now? Anyway,
I think little people is the correct term.
It's Sarah's uncle, cousin, something. Anyway, he was on Jerry Springer one time, and it was like I have a secret or whatever, and he was on there, and he's got like his girlfriend. And he's like, I got a secret, and he's like, I like to wear diapers, and he like strips off. He's just wearing a fucking diaper. I'm like, wow, that's he actually used to be a wrestler as well.
For what, Jimmy Valiant or something like that?
No, he used to wrestle in those spot shows that they would have at the YMCA with like Rolling Thunder and all those guys.
You and Rolling Thunder.
Rolling Thunder. I wish I got a picture with him. John did. I wonder if he still has that. But Rolling Thunder,
probably his bedside.
Rolling Thunder, for you guys don't know, was like this promotion's top babyface, and they would have a show every month at our local YMCA, and he was just this massive ass black guy. I mean, huge. He probably weighed. He was probably pushing 450 easy, maybe even higher than that. But I remember when he turned heel. A lot of upset people. And even as a kid, I got wrestling. I felt like as a kid, I just sort of got it. And here are all these older people around me are just like, oh my God, Taker got screwed, man. And I'm just like, yep, that's it.
Yeah, which we did run into that at the bowling alley years ago. Some redneck came out there and just forced his way into a conversation with us about how Taker got screwed by Batista or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, oh man, God, they're still around. Like they still exist. These people are just like you definitely, you're hanging out with David Arquette at a convenience store, aren't you? Ready to rumble.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible. Man, we've kind of rambled on for a while, so I guess
we'll
maybe
give you more bang for your buck. We give you a commentary on a classic cartoon and a little bit of pop culture, discussion as well.
We talk about toys and Jerry Springer and strip clubs and little people, and
it's a variety show.
It's like the Gong Show or whatever.
Or Sonny and Cher with no dignity or something like that, It's a variety show of jokes and things.
I'm glad. Fuck all those variety shows. Sonny and Cher, you had what? Sonny and Cher, the Osmonds.
Yeah.
Right? Donnie and Marie. Mm-hmm. Didn't the Brady Bunch had one at one point?
If they did, I have no recollection of it.
I don't think it lasted long, but they definitely had like some sort of weird variety thing. I don't like variety shows.
I think the Rat Pack, like Dean Martin had his variety show, I think, didn't he?
Yeah. I can't remember.
I don't know. I wasn't born when all that stuff was going on anyway. It's just stuff you learned over the years that these people had variety. You see clips of it on TV or other places. I do like when South Park made fun of the Sonny Cher variety show. That was pretty funny.
Yes. Brady Hour didn't last long.
Okay.
What is this? Survival Lukey X. This stream is. It says Dodo. I imagine he meant to say doo-doo. So thank you for that.
Appreciate that.
Appreciate it. Thanks for the feedback. Sure.
The fact that you took time to say that our show is doo-doo.
I like that.
Yeah.
Must have been all that Jerry Springer talk.
Yeah.
We're starting to bring him in somehow.
This guy's like, who's going to talk about turtles? Well, we are. But
yeah, we're getting there.
If you haven't listened to the show much, this is how me and Nathan get caught up with the week, things we go through. And when we talk about this stuff, it just kind of takes off another direction. And, it's just fair warning for every episode. We will give you what you want. But on top of that, it's fun for us to have random conversations. So,
yeah, we got to talk.
And if you don't like it, we're not going to apologize for it, But we welcome, if you don't like it, we're not going to denounce you for feeling that way either. So it's fair game here. You can denounce us and say we're stupid, big fat duty heads and whatever. Like,
oh, he said it was dodos.
Oh, we're dodos. Okay.
I don't know. It says this stream is dodo. I think they meant doo doo. I don't know. Whatever.
I'd be curious to know from the disgruntled listener, like, oh, is it dodo because you don't like what we have to say, you're waiting for the commentary, or you don't think we know anything? I'd be kind of, at least let us know why. I want the validation to know why we're doo-doo.
I don't care.
Or we dodo doo-doo.
I'll be doo-doo. You can be dodo.
I like that. Yeah.
Anyway.
Because I think I'm the shit, right? And Nathan doesn't know shit. There's
there we go.
Dodo, and I think I am. Yeah. See, we just turned that negative into a great publicity, reaction. Make for great merchandise if we were.
I just imagine it was some random thing they pop on YouTube, and somehow we showed up somehow in a recommended thing. they tuned in. It's like, what the fuck is this shit?
Well, he can go watch his top 10, Oh, there's the top 10 turtle figures, according to some asshole on the internet.
Number 10.
Yeah.
Armin Michelangelo.
Yeah.
For the kid with the even temperament.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're talking Shredder and Splintered. Tyler, you want to go ahead and give us any sort of backstory on about what we're about to dive into?
I picked this one because this was there's a bunch of, like when I say favorites, there was a lot of episodes I would get pumped when I would see them on TV. And this was one of them because, a lot of times these episodes for me were never played in chronological order. So you'd see stuff, you see Krang with his new body in one episode, then he doesn't have it in another. And wouldn't learn until later on, what episodes came in order. But in that episode, we are treated to the turtle blimp and Krang's new body, and Krang becoming the size of Godzilla attacking New York. There's a lot going on. We get Shredder and Splinter duking it out. The turtles taking on Krang in the new body and going to the Technodrome, fighting foot soldiers. There's a lot of stuff, and with the possible invasion of Dimension X, and then the inevitable Technodrome being transported to Dimension X. There's a lot of stuff that are staples in the series that happened in just this one episode. And I was going to do the Punk Frogs episode when they first show up. I was going to do Enter the Fly, where Baxter Stockman becomes the Fly for the first time. Return of the Shredder, which Nathan at an early age let me know that he liked, with the Crooked Ninja Turtle gang. That was yeah. Which that's a fun episode too.
We're the Crooked Ninja Turtle gang.
Yeah, with Peter Cullen doing the voice of Slash for the Slash for Cash Dojo. But I picked this one because it's a lot of stuff going on in it, and it's a real kick-ass episode. It's a fun episode, and there's so many staples introduced in one episode. So I picked it for that reason. All
right. Well, let's go ahead and dive right on in. You guys can watch along with us. I think I did put that in there. I didn't put the thing watch along with us, but the link is the first one right there in the description below. So if you guys want to click on that and watch along with us, feel free to.
All right.
Tyler, give us that countdown. We'll get going.
3, 2, 1, action.
I think we've said this all the other times, but I feel like we're going to do this a lot. But the intro, it's always something, even on VHS tapes that I got from Burger King and the other releases. I never fast forwarded through any of that.
Neither. Not once.
And I never got tired of it. I never got tired of the theme song, any of it.
No, and most of the shows, from He-Man, Thundercats, G.I. Joe, Turtles. That was part of the experience was the intro, and when I got the Heroes in a Half Shell VHS for Christmas '88 and had the first 2 episodes on it, it was part of the experience of watching this first 2 episodes with this intro and the FHE Family Home Entertainment logo and the Pound Puppy commercial that played before. It was all part of the experience of watching Turtles and just being blown away. And didn't have the title cards or anything like that on the VHS tape. So when you watched them on TV, that was kind of like a different experience too. Not that as much, but when you watch the stuff as much as we did as kids, when you see a variation here and there, like from voices changing and things like that, you catch it and you take notice in it for better or worse. And this is the last episode of season 1, which when I got this on DVD, I had no idea that the first Turtle season was as short as it was. And it makes sense since they didn't know how it was going to take. And obviously Turtles had a lot of people who weren't quite sure if this was a good idea or how, and that's the thing about the toy business TV shows. You can't predict anything.
Yeah, especially now because it's not like how it used to be. And we've talked about this many times over. Kids just don't really go towards the toys anymore. So it's kind of tough to have a successful show and then want to try to make toys from it as well. I kind of feel like they're starting to do that less and less, and kind of veering more into the direction of the adult collector, which is what I think they need to focus on, because we're the ones that do want that stuff.
Yeah. Obviously the last Turtles, not the current one that's clogging the shelves and no one's buying, kids or adults. But the last one, the 2012 one, I think the toys were obviously quite well received, not just by adults, but by kids as well. I think I remember at the time, I think it was linked as being like one of the top like sellers for Christmas. I think for a couple of Christmases in a row, at least one or two, I think. But it was just great to see that it was being acknowledged and looked at as like, hey, it's a success. Turtles is back and new toys, and they're being received, well by everybody. And but getting into this episode here too, like I remember I had the comic book adaptation of this episode and a couple of others. I used to love like looking at the comic book adaptation of it because, the VHS of this wasn't readily available to rent so frequently. So it was how I'd get my fix for some of the episodes. But I always remember distinctly seeing that Punk that we would see in the first episode of Turtles. That was with Bebop and Rocksteady before they became who we know them to be now. To see him as a mutant, like a mutant rat or a mouse, so to speak.
I like going up through the telephone booth like that.
I could see that being like a small, like mini playset, like the Turtle toll booth or the Turtle phone booth or something like that. Not toll booth. But
it would be cool, like if you could put a figure in it and like do a thing to make it look like he disappeared or something. That'd be neat.
Yeah, because the Turtles stroller had, not outside of like the Technodrome sewer place. There was like they had the retro. It's like the toilet. It's like the foot's like toilet flush or something like that, where they would drop retro mutant ooze on a captive turtle or something like that. I always thought that was such a kick-ass.
I always hated. I never, and I've mentioned this before. I never got to play with the ooze. My parents would always take that out, and I'm like, why? But at the same time, it's like, well, don't want to damage the figures. Don't want to fuck up their carpet or anything either.
Yeah, so I'm glad I didn't. It looked cool in the commercials.
I imagine a lot of kids though had horror stories of like getting that in their parents' carpet, and I imagine it was not easy to get up, or probably stained it pretty bad because hard to tell what they put in there.
Because it gets all dried and flaky, and it damages the toys if you don't clean them properly and in time too, and it just gets all. I'd have been super pumped to get it for a birthday or Christmas present, but I'm glad I never was given the temptation, because I was finicky about how I treated my toys, and that was something I'd be horrified if I'd have damaged a Splinter figure trying to reenact or create my own scene. And I do like this, it's Bebop and Rocksteady,
they're actually looking pretty strong right here.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that it's like Rocksteady looks like such a badass here with his machine gun, and that's a fun gimmick with the eyes turning into the stoplights there, but they really do become just walking floor mats for the whole series, and which you watch it, you kind of take it as it is, but they do come off threatening here in this first season to a certain extent. And of course, anytime you saw them in the video games, like, oh man, here they are.
I always hated that they were always kind of like the first ones you would come across, except for Turtles in Time, where they put them later in the game and put them together.
I don't know, the Manhattan Project, like Bebop comes like in the third stage, like right after you fight Slash and Rocksteady in the first game. And the arcade for Nintendo, and but I thought that was good too. It was mixing it up, because after a while, he's like, it's Bebop and Rocksteady over and over again. You got to mix it up a little bit. And here we are with our first glimpse at the Turtle Blimp, which I did not own as a kid, but I knew Josh Rapp had the Turtle Blimp. I do remember.
I had it as well.
That'd have been tremendous to have that thing. And our glimpse at Krang's new body here, which.
Did you have that?
I did not. I had Krang, the first Krang figure that came out with his walker. That's the only Krang figure that I had. But
I had them both.
I had a lot of Turtle figures, but a lot of the staples, like I had Bebop, but no Rocksteady. I had Shredder and Krang. I had One Foot Soldier. I had Slash and Ground Chuck, Triceratops.
I think my dad was always more understanding about that than my mom, because my dad had more of an interest of who I needed. Gotcha. So he was just like, oh, cool, that's coming out. So he knew what to get. So that was always nice. Like
seeing that brain juice of Krang on his like little pedestal there. And just seeing all this care that Shredder's putting in, like you could almost see that Shredder could turn on him at any moment, but he realizes that he needs Krang. And this is just a fun sequence, nice Frankenstein.
Nice. Yeah, I was about
I
to
like
say.
seeing Krang, like we were talking about, he's like rubbing his hands together, like he's savoring like the fact that he's going to be bigger and badder than ever. And Krang's body is such a simple design, but boy, is it memorable. I mean, fans just. Krang has to have his body, and I just think it's so cool, and I like seeing the Technodrome here being the massive fortress that it is.
I wish the toy would have been bigger.
I was always impressed by it. I've only seen it in person once or twice, but I think for what it was, scale. I mean, if it was really done to scale, God, no one would have been able to afford it. It'd be like a $200 toy back in 1991 or 90, but I thought the toy itself was pretty impressive because I remember seeing the commercials for it as a kid and just thought, oh, wow, this is amazing. But never had it, but maybe someday as an adult I'll pick up a Technodrome, but I wouldn't know where to put it. I have to have a bigger place. But as we're getting everything split up here with the Turtles taking on the Foot Soldiers here, which never gets tiresome. And so look at them actually using their weapons and things like that too, which is something that parents bitched about in the first film.
Which never makes any sense to me that parents bitch about stuff like that and then turn right around and just like cuss in front of their kid constantly. I'm like, you're kind of taking just
well, and the logic too
parenting.
is that the parent sees this child likes this property, but feels like, oh, it's too violent. Well, then you know what? Then don't let them watch it. Don't let them play with the toys. Don't buy them the toys. For them to just say, I'm going to write a letter to Playmates or to, Mirage Studios or Fred Wolf and tell them, I think it's too violent. I could not imagine my parents back then taking the time to do that.
I like how he's, setting up a hot date and then April comes in, interrupts his plans.
Which we will see his hot date in Return of Shredder, the next episode, the first episode of season 2, which I always thought she was so hot, but she was irritating too at the same time.
Speaking of hot, and it's been mentioned in the chat, I think we all kind of had crushes on April as a kid.
Yeah, I did like April a lot, but not like I think I was more partial to movie April, of course, both of them, and of course the April being saved in the game. Yeah, it was like, oh, I got to save April, whoever you're playing as, and I always liked April on the side of the arcade cabinet for the first game. That beautiful girl with the big '80s hair.
Yeah,
I don't know who she was, but she did a damn good job of playing April in just that one picture. But I just thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, someone needs to, if they haven't already, figure out who that was.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be funny if people like that started just coming to conventions? Like, I was on the cabinet art for this arcade machine.
I'd get her autograph. Like, man, you were hot.
I always thought it was funny that, and Tyler, you can throw out the name of the guy that voiced Donatello, but I think it's
God, his name always escapes me, but I could point him out in the crowd.
Yeah, I think it's funny that it's just like he talks like that. That's just how really he sounds. How he so he didn't have to do much at all. That's got to be an easy job,
Yeah, and I remember he played the rabbi on the episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm, and it drove me nuts.
Barry Gordon.
Barry Gordon, that's it. Yeah. I need to send Nathan that clip where he gets his hand crushed by Larry David on some glass, and he screams out loud. Oh God, it's so funny.
And the whole time you're just like, yeah, it's Donatello.
It's Donatello. And now watch it makes it even funnier because it's Donatello, screaming and yelling. But his hand got all cut up. But when you get used to seeing Krang in his new body in some of the episodes, but I mean, I always thought it was always fun to watch. And here is April with the turtle van at her disposal. Instead of using the news van. Oh, there's Vern.
Oh, April.
He really becomes such a whiny prick throughout the series, which is good, I didn't have the turtle van as a kid either. I didn't get it until I was a little bit older.
Damn, dude.
Yeah. This is a memorable fight here.
Yeah.
We don't get to see too much of this. Either Splinter's captured, but this was something I remember reading in the comic book too, adaptation of this. And it was just always exciting to see these two face off when this episode would air on TV. Because Splinter got given the back seat a lot, because the Turtles were given all the action and Splinter, didn't get to do it that much. So it's refreshing to see them go at it here.
We definitely need to get a Splinter. From
NECA can't stop. It's just what we got. Like we need to get Krang in his body. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But Splinter, Casey, and April, like we have to get this. Look at this, the Stone Army.
It's kind of a scary visual, in a way, especially if you're watching it as a kid. That probably would have made me nervous.
It's an onslaught, especially the way it was shot, like at that kind of odd angle and general track, saying we're ready. And then watching Krang grow here, this was something as a kid to this is where the stakes are really raising high.
And I like that visual right there of them running away and him chased from the side profile.
Oh boy, yeah. This was something that you're excited, but you're nervous for the Turtles as a kid. And you're just sitting this quietly. Me and my brother would just watch this, and I'm not getting all oh man, it's just you're sitting there, you're just engrossed. You're not talking, you're just watching this action take place. And this was memorable. This whole sequence of Krang becoming, Godzilla, so to speak, and the Turtles how the hell are they gonna stop this? And it's just fun to see Krang this powerful by himself.
And I like the voice, how he sounds when he's bigger too.
Yeah. It's villains to me, that's why, I've never seen it since I saw it, but the Ursula and the Little Mermaid, when she comes the giant octopus witch at the end of the movie, just grows out of the ocean. Frightening as hell to me as a kid. Villain, to me, giant, beings like that. Godzilla and King Kong never frightened me though, but when you see heroes taking on larger than life, Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, one of the most memorable giant monsters of all time. I was more engrossed about that. It was oh man, how are they going to stop this? Just like Krang's body here too. And unfortunately too, after this episode, Shredder becomes not much of a threat. Another one of those things where they have the right idea in mind of making the villains quite threatening and imposing, and then they decide we got to tone it down because all these parents got sand in their vaginas about what their kids are watching.
I mean, I get it to an extent. Kids back in the day here probably shouldn't have been watching Beavis and Butthead. I mean, that's just
but it wasn't
young
kids.
kids.
It wasn't.
Oh yeah.
Kids,
that's what I'm saying. Most of it just boils down to parents being mad that they can't just let their kids sit in front of the TV and watch whatever they want.
Well, that requires you to be a parent.
No, I know, but that's the thing that it's Tyler. You're putting too much logic in that.
Oh, I know. I don't know what I was thinking.
How dare they have to actually pay attention to their child?
Yeah. I mean, I can't tell you not once that my parents were ever put off by anything of the cartoons other than they got sick and tired of watching He-Man so much. Turtles, they were perfectly fine with, from the toys, the cartoon, the movies. There was no issues at all. So to have any kind of, I always thought this was fascinating too, being inside the body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the stakes are higher once they start to get them to shrink and they got to get out.
Yeah. All this, to see Don and Leo inside, Mike and Raph out or inside. God, I got the reverse. Don and Leo inside and Mike and Raph on the turtle bump on the outside. All this is just fun and fascinating. And you got this fight going on in the Technodrome still. It's just cool to know these two have been duking it out the whole time. Yeah.
I like how he's already fucked and just jumps on him.
Yeah. I like Don's approach here. Yeah.
It's nice to see Donatello actually get, because I feel like Leonardo and Raph kind of get the bulk of the action stuff.
A lot of times, yeah. But, I mean, I really think these first 5 episodes, I mean, they do a pretty good job of giving a lot of good action beats to all of them, where you feel like all of them are getting their fair share of ass kicking in. And you don't see Krang street level like this that much, you know, because he tends to be in the Technodrome most of the time.
Right.
So it's kind of interesting to see him on the street fighting the turtles, and just changing his hand around to, it's like trap jaw here, just various hand attachments.
Kind of wonder if that would sort of be inspiration of some of the guys, like, oh, let's kind of make them like Trapjaw. Make it spin around, do things like that.
David Wise, who wrote a lot of these episodes, especially in the beginning, did work on He-Man and did do some pretty good episodes on He-Man. Michael Reeves, who worked on He-Man, he also worked on Turtles as well. So there's a lot of common writers work on a lot of these shows that we hold near and dear to our hearts.
Thingamabob.
And I'd always be curious because I'm sure they've been interviewed about it. I just have not bothered to look out and dig it too much, but it'd be interesting to hear. Oh, Tonight I Dine on Turtles.
Yeah, we got the line.
Yeah. Turtles in Time fans, you've seen that line so many times.
I feel like it's been in all the video games. It feels like
it just seems like it's a common threat. If you're gonna have Shredder speak anything, it's always Turtle Soup related. It's kind of an easy go-to of saying, "Hey, I'm gonna kill you all," without saying I'm gonna kill you. And here we're going back down in there to go do some more action. I mean, it's just a gauntlet of action in this episode. That's what makes it so great. There's the thugs all locked up from the first episode. Look at that.
Good God. Yeah.
It's like Raph and Shredder duking it out like that. You don't see that too often. And it's a shame we didn't get to see a lot of one-on-one fights with them. After this first season. That was cool.
I'm kind of surprised they didn't have more visual of them like jumping out. It's just like it gets sucked in and they're back on the ground again.
I'm sure it may have been storyboarded. It may have been actually animated and just cut for time. I mean, all these voices too are so perfect. I mean, everybody did such a great job with these voices. I mean, with all this initial cast, that's why I'd get so upset as a kid when you'd see, James Avery's not doing Shredder, or Barrett Gordon's voiced by probably Frank Welker, who whoever did the voice of Scooter on the Muppet Babies. I remember did the voice of Donatello in the Usagi episode. I'm like, it's not a complete episode when you got one of the voices off. I get so upset about that. Seeing Shredder without his mask, you don't see that too often either.
Yeah.
But I like too, like in the toy line too, like so many characters were from Dimension X. Like Slash was, Triceraton was, the Stone Soldiers, or Rock Warriors, Rock Soldiers, whatever you want to call them. Oh yeah, I was a turtle when I grew up.
Hang all 4 of them. Thanks, old lady.
There's that same old lady from the first episode.
It's so weird to think about that something like this just blew up the way it did when you really think about it.
Yeah. Of course, anybody that listens to this, I mean, obviously, I think everybody that listens to this was around when this, when people say you had to be there to see it, we were really fortunate. I mean, to have been there when, Turtles really came on the scene from the very beginning to the unfortunate end. I mean, it was a juggernaut. I mean, from the merchandise to the apparel of lunch boxes and school supplies and Burger King tie-ins and stage shows and character. Like I got footage of me meeting a guy in a Michelangelo suit at King Video.
I got the picture with Michelangelo at Valley View Mall. He did like did like a little stage show presentation thing.
Oh man, I was super pumped to see that.
But no video because video cameras were very expensive back then. And
this was like offered at King Video. Like you pay like $5 and get your own personal VHS tape, which was like a minute long of you meeting Michelangelo. So yeah, I've got that on DVD. I had it transferred to DVD, so it's available over here.
I need to find a way to rip that onto the computer and upload it.
Yeah, I'm wearing like a button-up shirt, and I got it tucked in my jeans, and I got the beginnings of a blonde mullet too.
Oh God, I think mullets are making a comeback. By the way, I'm seeing a handful of people at work sporting them. And I'm just like,
sure it's just not people who are lost in the early '90s.
Yeah, it could be. So there's still a lot of that around here. There's still a lot of like the big hair.
I still see it sometimes too, but it's not it's definitely people who look like you definitely feel like you're
acid wash jeans.
Yeah. People that are just refusing to give up certain things. I couldn't imagine still sporting a bowl cut. Good grief. But it was considered like the handsome look for kids at our time.
Right. We have inspired JSP. He's on the search to find the model who played April on the cover of that arcade cabinet.
Best of luck to you on that one, because I'm sure it's out there. But I always thought she was quite attractive. So it's just Turtles is an endless conversation for me, Nathan. And even though I wasn't, a lot of the stuff, it was the experiences of seeing the films and going to Hills and Kmart and looking for certain figures. I mean, I was always on a mission to find certain characters like Triceratops and Slash. Like, I have to have them.
Yeah, I'm gonna. I'll get a picture of me opening up those troll turtles, and I'll do the screen share thing, and we'll let everyone see it, and that'll be fun. And I think we should try to rip that video.
Well, yeah, I got it over here, so I'd have to let you take it over to your house, and
I'll find a way to do that. Maybe we can upload it to the channel or something.
Yeah, I don't mind. That's not something I'm embarrassed about. I have my little Southern accent as a little kid, and
yeah,
it's not that Southern though. I think I got more Southern as an adult.
Well, honestly, it depends, because I listen to myself talking on old videos, and I'm like, as a teenager, I'm like, shit, like that was definitely there. And one of the girls I went to high school with, Molly, I accidentally, because I was meaning to send the audio link to Doug, and I accidentally sent it to her because we were messaging, and she's like, "Oh, what's this?" I was like, "It's just the podcast thing we do." She's like, "Oh, I'll check that out," and she listened to me, and she's like, "Oh, your accent." I'm like, "What about it?" And she was like, "It sounds kind of Southern," but she's been in Richmond for a better part of a decade now.
Oh,
so maybe to me and to people, oddly enough, people here, when they hear me talk, they're like, "Are you from around here?" And I'm like, "Yeah, born and raised." But these guys probably listen to us, and everywhere else is like, "Yeah, you sound like a hillbilly." So,
yeah, I've been told the same thing. People around here don't think I'm from here, but it probably doesn't help too. We try to get new listeners for all of our podcasts, and they hear these two guys from the South.
Yeah,
trying to, people think South and think, "Oh man, country music."
So let it be known that people here don't think we sound like the rest of them.
Yeah.
So just imagine if this sounds Southern to you, it's
who
far worse.
Yeah.
Far worse with the other accents in this area. So,
I had one guy thought I was from California one time, which I took it as a compliment.
Yeah, but still, that guy's a moron.
Yeah. Well, I was like, nah, I wish I could say so, but no, not from there. I'm from rural Virginia, and we apologize for our accents. It's not something we're proud of, but
yeah, I hate it.
I hate it too. It's not fun to. I'm sure that probably has caused friction for people who see what's this podcast about, and when they hear our voices.
Yeah, as soon as they hear the voices, they're just like, "No, I don't want to. I can't do it."
Oh, these guys don't know. They won't know anything about classic cartoons and toys and comics and shit. They're from the South. So,
Yeah.
But hey, you got to remember, Jim Cornette is from the South. One of the smartest guys to ever grace the wrestling business, And we met him too. And we're probably one of the few people that got to sit down and actually talk with Cornette and invited to talk with him.
Yeah, I think I actually shared that when I did the video game stream last Friday. Yeah. I shared that entire story. So if you guys want to know what I'm talking about, check out the video game stream. I think it's just titled, what's it called? I don't know what it's called.
Yeah. He's having a Super Bowl Saturday moment.
Super Bowl Saturday? It's, what's this, a Friday stream? Yeah, I think it's in like the first part. The first half I did, maybe. First or second half. You guys check it out.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
So just to let you know, people, if we're too Southern for you, we do have substance to the show. If you can look past the accents,
yeah,
and the poor,
and just know that we don't enjoy how we sound either. So
yeah, but if you can look past that, we really like to try and offer some more in-depth discussions and more specifics and details than what most people are
about. Jerry Springer and turtle variants and strip clubs and gift cards and Wilford Brimley.
Yeah. Diabetes and oatmeal.
I'm hearing like Jasper's barking at somebody outside. I can hear. I don't think it's picking up on here, but I can hear. Anyway, did you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
hey, if you can hear my fridge, I can hear your dog.
Yeah, that's true. Any final thoughts on Turtles or this episode or anything else before we go ahead and wrap it up?
I just, I'm sure a lot of fans who listen to this, I'm sure you all saw this episode at some point or another as a child for sure. And if you own it on DVD, you've definitely watched it. Or if you're one of those guys who just buys the stuff and doesn't watch it, get your ass off the couch, grab that DVD and put it in your DVD player or Blu-ray and watch it.
They are still selling. If you go to Walmart, they're still selling the complete series. I think it's cheap. I want to say it's like, cheapish. I want to say it's like $50, maybe 60. Just comes in.
I'm only missing a few volumes. I'm not missing any.
Yeah, I was thinking about it just because I am missing a few volumes as well.
Yeah.
And so a couple of those that I am missing are kind of pricey, so I'm like, I may as well just go get the entire series again.
Yeah, is it sold in the turtle van? Is that what they're selling it in? Or?
No, it's like in a case. It's probably about yay thick. So I imagine it's like the different discs, like you could just flip through them.
Yeah,
but it's pretty thick. I would say it's probably about the He-Man mini comic book. Yeah. Probably about that thick. Question for the host, Tyler. If one of the 80s ladies, present day looks, was to offer you sex, would you, and who would it be?
Well, I like this question a lot. Are we talking like how she looks currently or back then?
Yeah. If one of them from the 80s, it's kind of what I'm gathering. Present day looks, if one of them from the 80s, but how they look today came up to you, who would it be? Who would you want it to be? There is no would you to it. That's a definite yes on his end, but it's just narrowing it down to who it would be. Leah Thompson.
Leah Thompson tends to be.
Oh, it was same time.
Yeah.
Same time. Yeah, because she's still dynamite.
Yeah.
Tyler's got one of her hairs.
I do have one of her hairs. It's in a frame over here.
Yeah, the Howard the Duck. Yeah, with the Howard the Duck poster.
Yeah, that she. Not like here's a hair, but it came. I think she was just kind of got caught and she just laid it on the poster for me. Yeah,
that's weird. Yeah, you can go make your own Leah Thompson now.
Yeah. So it was just something that clearly a weird fan was like, "Can I have one of your hairs?" And they'd be like, "Get this guy out of here." But for her to do that,
yeah,
I'm like, "Oh my god."
We're gonna treasure this forever.
Yeah. So that was quite a prize. But yeah, she would definitely, she always comes to mind for something like that. There's a whole legion of beautiful women from the 80s that I have massive crushes on still to this day. But for this question, I will say Leah Thompson and Howard the Duck. Let me give it more specific there with that crimped hair. Oh God, man.
So you could just get her to cosplay as her character.
Beverly. It's Beverly. Yeah. And she got to come out with her hair up like this, with her like kind of a loose top and her little pink socks and crawl into bed with her panties showing, like she was getting ready to like teasing Howard and making his feathers pop up. Like seeing that as a kid, too young to know what sex is or anything like that. But like he got a kiss from Beverly. Oh man, I want a kiss from Beverly. So yeah, that'd have been it.
I got a peek at her panties.
Yeah, excellent question. We encourage more questions like that.
I was kind of thinking that maybe
who would it be for you?
No, that was my answer. We said it at the same time.
Okay, Leah Thompson. Leah Thompson from what film?
She looked great in all of them. I mean, I would
like
probably
Some Kind of Wonderful. Like, oh boy, she's rocking as Amanda Jones in Some Kind of Wonderful too.
Yeah, she was just hot in all.
How
of them.
about Space Camp?
God, man. Back when Hollywood took chances on things.
Yeah. How about that? They made a movie about Space Camp.
Yeah.
That was always one of the prizes on Double Dare.
I watched Major Payne not too long ago. Still
man. Hillary from Fresh Prince.
And
Emily Walburn, Major Payne. Good God Almighty, she's hot.
They wouldn't make that movie today.
No, because we have a lot of pussies who wouldn't allow that movie.
You called him fat. It's like, are you deaf? Actually, sir, he is deaf.
Yeah. And then proceeds to mock him for being deaf.
Yeah.
I will put my foot in your ass. God, that's stuff.
They wouldn't make anything like that these days. Too sensitive. You gotta stop it, guys. It's life. Shit happens. Yeah, people
apologizing for people just being comedians feeling like they can't be comedians and saying stuff that's risque or edgy or
There is a line. I will say that. Like shit can go.
Of course,
shit can go too far, but at the same time,
a good comedian knows where to draw the line, though.
Yeah.
Even if they're the foul-mouthed comedians, not just like a George Carlin always comes to mind because the guy would talk about anything and everything. He could slam religion. I never took offense to any of it. Neither did my dad.
Yeah.
It was just funny stuff, and because it was also logical.
Yeah, he was smart about it.
Yeah,
he was probably my all-time favorite, just because of his wit, but it had a lot of thought put into it. He really broke stuff down in a way that I feel like a lot of people never looked at it that way before. And it's like, oh wow, holy shit, yeah. So he was. I'm glad we got to see him.
Yeah.
He passed away.
He passed away just I think 2 months after you and I saw him. Yeah.
But I'm gonna encourage that anytime we do capes and commentaries and beyond retro, kind of how we do on Fans of Power. Maybe at the end we'll just sort of open it up to questions from the chat if people want to throw anything out there like that.
Yeah, random questions. They don't have to be Turtles related or cartoon related. If you have something fun, we'll do that in Fans of Power tonight too.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be He-Man related. If you got a fun question you want to ask, just throw it out.
You killed George Carlin, huh? No.
Nah. But no, we just say he went out on the high note after he saw us.
That's probably what killed him.
He couldn't raise the bar any higher.
Yeah, your
I did get to see him 3 times though, so I'm pretty proud to say that I did see.
Yeah, Tyler's went and saw like tons of comedians.
Yeah, I see Louis Black, Jerry Seinfeld. I think twice. Yeah, twice.
Yeah, you didn't get to go one time because your brother's
My brother
graduation.
was graduating the same night. Oh god! And I found out after the fact that after I bought the tickets, they were close seats, I think too. I was just gonna go by myself because Nathan still to this day hates Seinfeld, so I couldn't get anybody to go with me. And my mom told me, "That's not your brother's graduation." And of course, she looked at me like, "You don't have much of a choice, Tyler." Even though I spent my hard-earned money to buy those tickets.
What'd you end up doing? Did you give them to anybody, or
no?
It's just an empty seat.
No, I actually held on to that ticket. It's in my Seinfeld frame in the kitchen. So I held on to it, and I did get to see him again 2 other times. One was front row. I went by myself and saw him front row, which was pretty surreal. Like the event wasn't that great. Like I've seen better, but it was just so surreal to see Jerry Seinfeld that close. You're like,
well, it's probably because he's not that funny.
Oh, I should have known that was coming. Hey, I can be honest, it was not as good as I would have hoped, but to see him that close,
I could see you just sitting there like.
Nah, it just when you just kind of, it's Jerry Seinfeld. The bar has risen quite high. I've seen Lewis Black in person. He was great, and I've seen some of his stand-up shows. Like, man, all he did was just cuss. Like, that's not funny at all. So not all comedians can be great every single time, but I've seen some good ones in my time. Not that many, but proud to say that I got to see all three of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
I don't know how to respond to that. Yeah, let's wrap it up. That said, thanks to all you guys that popped in the chat. Thanks to whoever that was that called us Dodo.
Yeah, spread the word.
I'm Dodo.
You're not.
I'm Dodo. You're Doo-Doo, right?
Yeah.
That's what we've established here.
Yeah.
But whatever. Thanks for the feedback. If you guys don't like the show, cool.
Let us know.
If you like it, feel free to hit the like button, leave a comment down below, hit subscribe, ring the bell so you get notified when new videos get posted to the channel or we go live for all of our podcasts and arcade streaming. Check out all the links down below. You can find us on Podbean and iTunes. I want to encourage you guys to check out Fans of Power, the He-Man and the Master Universe podcast, hosted by Tyler Baker, Joe Amato, and myself. Hit Joe up for a custom, buy his t-shirt, and also check out the Transitional Champion podcast that I do with our former producer, Dirt. Road to WrestleMania. I missed this week's episode because I was asleep and I didn't set my alarm properly.
I'm sure you didn't miss anything.
Yeah.
I didn't think so.
I still don't. Some of the decisions that they're making with the card and how they're trying to go week to week, I'm like, there's an easier way to do this. So, whatever.
Well, since you got to work next weekend, we won't be.
No. I as far as I know, I don't have to.
Oh, okay.
Unless it gets posted. As far as I know, first shift's working this Saturday. So if I'm not working, you guys can plan on Batman 66 movie.
Yes.
We will finally knock that
one
out.
We won't swap that for something else. That's pretty much in the bank.
Yeah.
Will not be cut off again.
And if I do have to work, we'll do G.I. Joe, since that was kind of the other choice between that and Turtles this week.
Yeah, we'll do the first episode of the Serpentor miniseries. Yeah, we won't expect to finish it, but I love it. It's a great episode, and I want Nathan to watch it. So that's what we'll do. It's one of those two.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, you guys can look forward to that next week, and until then, we will see you in the future to talk about the past. This is Dodo with Doo-Doo. Signing off. Thanks, guys. See you next time.